Shalom, shalom. I want to begin this video by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Salaki, if y'all hear anything, I'm actually at work right now. But just wanted to get this video out for you guys because it's on my spirit too. I wanted to talk about the ministry of Yahweh Shai. And really 2 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, and 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, captures the ministry. So we're going to read these two passages in full length. They're not too long, but we're just going to kind of go through it. And I wanted to get the etymology for the ministry. Definition of it, Salakia. It says ministry, noun, it's etymology. The office or function of a priest, a position in a church or monastery, service in matters of religion. So we know that the ministry is talking about a position in a church, and we understand that we are the church of Yahweh Shai, being the body of Yahweh Shai. So we abide in his ministry that way by pushing out this word, just, and especially with the way we're going about on the hard line of rod of iron, it's being set up just like a ministry. So the Spirit was in me today to get this and go over these passages, which the Apostle Paul goes over the ministry of Yahweh Shai. It says 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 1, do we begin again to commend ourselves, or need we, as some others, epistles of commendation to you, or letters of commendation from you? Verse 2, ye are epistle written in our hearts, known and read of all men. For as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Hamashiach, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the spirit of the living power, not in the tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of hearts. So this is going, verse 3 is directly comparing, contrasting the law of Moses, written not with ink, to the spirit of Yahweh Shai, really the spirit of the Father, because what this new covenant did was basically break us out of the bondage of being, from being under the law of Moses. So this ministry that Yahweh Shai was doing, of course, we understand that these Pharisees completely condemned it. They didn't want anything to do with it. So, and we understand also that Paul was born under the law of Moses, so he had to keep it, but he was the one actually teaching and preaching the ministry of Yahweh Shai, which is the law of liberty. So we gotta keep that in mind as we're reading this passage. This verse 4, and such trust have we through Hamashiach to our God word, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of the power. Verse 6, who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. So that's going into exactly what I was just saying, that the law of Moses was carnal, it was about the flesh, but the spirit of, this law of liberty that, love thy neighbor as thyself and love the Lord thy God with all thy might, all thy heart, and all thy strength, that's going into the spirit. That gives us life in this word, so just got to keep that in mind as well. Verse 7, but if the ministration of death written and graven in stones was glorious, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away. Verse 8, how shall not the ministration of the Spirit be rather glorious? For the ministration of condemnation be glory, much more doeth the ministration of righteousness exceed in glory. Verse 10, for even that which was made glorious had no glory in this respect, by reason of the glory that excelleth. Verse 11, for if that which is done away was glorious, much more that which remaineth is glorious. Verse 12, seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech. Verse 13, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. So these law keepers, they put a veil pretty much over their spirit by trying to keep this law of Moses in the 21st century, which you can't even keep the sacrificial law, which is completely done away with. What are you guys sacrificing? You guys aren't keeping the law, and nowhere in Scripture does it say keep the law to your best of your ability. It says if you can't keep any of it, you're going off. Pretty much, you can't keep the law. That's why it's done away with. And if you can't keep the whole thing, you're not supposed to be keeping it at all. So these law keepers and these Pharisees they're ruthless on this shit because they're condemned. They're condemned in the spirit. So we understand that, and all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua that, we are woken up to this law of liberty, because if we had woken up to the law of Moses, we would be condemned completely. So this is 2 Corinthians 3:14. But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in a Mashiach. Verse 15, but even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. It's going back into the law of Moses. The veil is upon their spirits. They are completely blinded. Verse 16, nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away. Verse 17, this is the meat. Now the Lord is that spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Verse 18, but we all with open face beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. Okay, let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, starting at verse 1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we faint not. See, we've received mercy through this law of liberty, through the blood of Yahushua. The law keepers haven't received that mercy. They're not going to get that mercy in this lifetime. They're going to face the brunt of judgment for rejecting the Messiah in their past lives. Verse 2, but have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of the power deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of the power. Verse 3, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, who's lost from the gospel of this law of liberty, the law keepers. Verse 4, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of a Mashiach, who is the image of the power, should shine unto them. Verse 5, for we preach not ourselves, but a Mashiach Yahushua the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. Verse 6, for the power who commanded the light to shine out of darkness has shined in our lights to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the power in the face of a Yahushua Mashiach. Verse 7, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of the Father and not of us. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahushua, that the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our body. So this law of liberty has been made manifest upon us, and we understand that we are the body. We are the ministry of Yahushua, present time. This is the present time of Yahushua's ministry being resurrected in the 21st century. Verse 11, for we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahushua's sake, that the life also of Yahushua might be made manifest in our mortal flesh. Going back to what I was just saying, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit of this truth of, us being under the law of liberty was made manifest into us in these fleshly bodies, in these fleshly minds. It was a supernatural, thing for us to get this truth and to understand it. So we understand that this all was done through the concept of regeneration, that we repented in our past lives to get this ministry now. And now that this ministry is being set up in the 21st century, we are able to carry out what Paul was doing back then when this ministry was just, coming out for the nation. Verse 12, so then death worketh in us, but life in you. We have in the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believed and therefore have I spoken. We also believe and therefore speak. Verse 14, knowing that he which raised up the Lord Yahushua shall raise up us also by Yahushua, and shall present us with you. Verse 15, for all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the glory of the power. Verse 16, for which cause we faint not, but through our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Read that again, 2 Corinthians 4:16, for which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. The law keepers cannot relate to this at all. Their inward man is not renewed day by day. They may think that it is because they have, an understanding of the scriptures, but they don't have that understanding of the ministry that Yahushua wants us in, which is the law of liberty. He wants us teaching this law of liberty. He wants us loving our brethren. And we understand that there's no division under this law of liberty. They're perishing every single day through being condemned through the law. We're being renewed spiritually every single day that, brothers are edifying one another, bringing out scriptures, just we're learning from one another, and we're being renewed in the spirit each and every day. These law keepers cannot relate to that whatsoever. Verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. It's going into the spirit. We understand that this whole society, the way things are temporal, but the kingdom to come that's been prophesied through this word, we understand that's eternal. And us having this understanding is eternal, So we got to be thankful in that. Just wanted to get a few more precepts. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 15. Hate not laborious work, neither husbandry, which the Most High hath ordained. So we can't hate the fact that we're doing this. We got to love doing this work and pushing out this truth, because it's bringing the nation together. Those who are under this law of liberty, it's bringing us together in the spirit. It's not, dividing us whatsoever. So we got to love doing this work. We got to love it. We don't do it in vain. We don't do it. It's like, oh, got to do another video. No, I do a video because I love edifying you guys, and that through the spirit, we're coming together. We're being a big Israelite family again in the spirit. So, hey, we just got to continue to do what we're doing, man. I can get this as well. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 9. Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. So we got to continue to labor in doing this work. And, hey, through the hard line, we're building a ministry up, man. We are. So it was on my spirit to kind of go through those passages and just go through that with y'all. Lord willing, y'all were edified. Like I said, it's lucky if y'all heard any background noises. I am at work, but I wanted to get this video out for y'all today. So just want to end this video by giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. All praises due. I'll see y'all in the next one. Shalom.